next speaker, who of course you all know, is Stijn van Rossem, who is a book historian. He's taught at Kent and University City. I just looked up, and we're now very fortunate to have him here in London at the IHR, where he's particularly, not only, but particularly looking after the Dutch collections of the Institute of Historical Research, and I'm looking forward to your talk on how Geyl brought this about.
Okay, thank you for this introduction. What is the legacy of Pieter Geyl? You can say there are many legacies, and those legacies can also change depending on the country where you're looking at the legacy. And I remember being a student in historiography class in Leuven, we primarily focused on the geschiedenis van de Nederlandse stam, so the history of the Dutch-speaking people, and how this connected with his political views. In the Netherlands, of course, there's been a lot of debate, as we just heard, about his historical work, his proper historical work, alongside with Geyl as a person, the troublemaker, the influential figure in all aspects of cultural and political life. In England, Geyl will primarily be remembered for his later work, his historical theory work, the work that he wrote later. But at the course of his death in the 60s, which is now 50 years ago, it's one of the reasons why we're holding this symposium now. A lot of people were writing that Geyl's most durable legacy will probably be the creation of the Low Countries collection in the Institute of Historical Research. And this is something that kind of struck me as well, and whether this is true or not, it's the fact that this collection is still here today, it's still being built on, and if you have time, feel free to wander around, and even in the whole library, but look around, look at the collection. And this is of course the reason why I'm here as a fellow looking at this collection, so in this way the circle is complete, one might say. This is a book I was talking about earlier, 50 key thinkers on history, and Pieter Geyl is among this in all through history, so there is still considered to be an important historical thinker. It's of course interesting to think that the history of, or the moment Pieter Geyl became professor, held the chair of Dutch studies, is really the same period as the foundation of the Institute of Historical Research. The institute was created by the leading historian of the time, Albert Pollard, who was a professor at UCL, and it was his lifelong work to create this Institute of Historical Research, which was supposed to be an institute aimed at historians, not just for students, but historians could use, that would be at the same time not only creating historians, but also aimed at creating historical truths. That's how he put it so nicely. So this institute was long in the making, but it took until after World War I, 1921, for it to found. I will have some quotes of what Geyl thinks about other colleagues, let's say, and it's rarely positive, I can warn you already. So he respected Pollard, but he never had any close relations with him. In the period Pieter Geyl was in London, the building where we are now did not yet exist. In fact, the Institute of Historical Research were in these little huts, very close to where we are now. Maybe one building more to the side where now Verbeek is located. And in these little huts, the institute was created. So when in the 30s, the plans for this magnificent Senate House were drawn up, Geyl had already left London for Utrecht. So, what's happening with Pieter Geyl in his beginning years in London? This is a program I found of the first, well, in 1923, what was happening, what they were actually teaching. I don't know if you can really read it. So you can see that it was not only Professor Geyl, but also Peter Harting, who was the reader for Dutch language studies, let's say. But on him, I will talk about more now. So the start of his career was fairly problematic. He was very young, 31. This is also, he admits that I was too young to take up this position. He felt isolated. He didn't like the internal twaddle of the college dinners, the common room. He didn't feel that he was really accepted, that he was a member of the club. And also, his field of study did not really fit well within the curriculum of the university. Later on, looking back, he really acknowledged this was a mistake of him to not address this properly. And this, as already mentioned earlier this morning, got him into conflict with the provost of the university, Gregory Foster, who particularly didn't like that almost no students came to his classes. And as you see, the other reader took very good use of this, and he, as Geyl described him, as a very vulgar and ambitious person, kind of. This is the vision of Geyl. We will not know what really happened. Kind of collaborated with Foster and trying to get Pieter Geyl taking his post taken away and put Peter Harting in his place. Because the chair was not permanent, it was in the beginning a 5-year-long appointment. So in 1924, in theory, Geyl could be replaced, and it came very close to being the case. He even planned, he got the invitation to go back to the Netherlands to take up a post as a journalist again for a newspaper that had to be created. In the end, it didn't happen, so luckily he didn't abandon the post because he wouldn't have any job. But it took the lobbying of a lot of colleagues from the Netherlands, his tutor, and other people, supported the committee that created the chair to keep Geyl on. And of course this didn't go, in the long run this created the split between, on the one hand, the more language and linguistic part of the chair, which was represented by Peter Harting. Those people stayed in Bedford College, and Geyl, the more historical side of the department, let's say, who then went to UCL. So this is a part of the annual report of the IHR, where in 1925-1926 it's mentioned that more than 1,000 volumes of Dutch studies books from University College came to the IHR, and that this collection was first housed in Bedford College. So it's very easy, well, one might think that probably are they connected, the fact that Geyl had to leave Bedford, came to UCL, probably wanted to break ties with Bedford College, and being somebody who was not likely to forget a fight in this way, wanted to hurt also Bedford in taking away this collection of books. Maybe, but not completely, as we will see in the next minutes. This is the accessions register of the Dutch collection, and here, if we zoom in, we can also see 1925 being the year of the first books being recorded. So in 1925, the books physically came here, and you can see that sent from Bedford College, and that Professor Geyl was personally involved in the transfer of the books. But first, maybe a word about the collection itself. So the Low Countries collection, it was of course older, and it was an intrinsic part of the position that was created after World War I. As we can see, when they were drawing up the costs, there is a post for library of £100 to be spent each year on buying, creating this collection of Low Countries books. This was later increased by personal, because of personal connections of Geyl with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to a higher amount, so there was really a big, kind of a big budget to start up this collection. And this is also interesting to see, the salaries were transferred to the Committee for Dutch Studies, but the money for the library came, at least until the 30s, directly to Geyl personally. So he had a check to buy books himself, so he was personally involved in choosing the books, and even buying the books, ordering them. As you can see from this is from a German publisher, Books for the Library, but ordered by Pieter Geyl himself. This is the check that I found in the archives in the Netherlands for the Dutch Studies Department after the 30s, that this check was no longer given directly to Geyl, but to the committee, and then back to Geyl to buy it. So when did the collection actually move and why? There have already been quite substantial donations from a lot of countries, also the Belgian government, and in one of the earliest reports it's noted that Henri Pirenne facilitated the larger part of almost 200 volumes of the Commission Royale d'Histoire de Belgique to be transferred to the newly erected IHR. So there were already donations being made. But if we look into the archive and the IHR here, we see that already in 1921, Geyl wants the collection that was now in Bedford to be brought over to the IHR. So why didn't it happen? Because they were very, the plans were were already almost made, everything was created. There was however one problem. Geyl wanted the books to be able to be lent out. He felt that students who needed the books needed to be able to take them home, and this was of course against policy of the institute where no books could leave. Geyl then doesn't want to give up, and he's writing to everybody, even to the director of the institute, Pollard, again stating his claim that he would be personally responsible for books being lent out, and given the fact that most of the books would be in Dutch, there will not be a lot of people who wanted to lend out the books. He will know them all personally, so it is all going to be fine. And it's very weird to see that this eventually was, in a way, the breaking point why the books didn't change in 1921. This is in fact, the agreement that was made with the Dutch Studies Committee. The book will remain property of Dutch Studies. There will be a room created in the IHR, and the Institute will provide necessary bookcases. Here, Geyl kind of hid the fact that there was this conflict about lending out books or not, because in a later letter, the committee said that they were not aware of this particular clause, and this is why things didn't happen well until 1935. When we read in the letter that they don't need to make this decision again in 1921, everything was basically put in order. It's just a fact of lending out books or not lending out books. So if Geyl would agree to this rule, the books can come at any moment. And so it happened. So in 1925, more than 1,000 volumes changed from Bedford College to the Historical research. Then there was, of course, the matter of the books staying the property of the committee and the Dutch state. And therefore the books needed to have a stamp, which is these earlier books, they have these stamps, so this is how you can recognize the books coming from Bedford College, and they all have this stamp put on them, still property of the Dutch state, only lent to the university. Just to kind of finish the whole story about can you borrow books or not, this letter is one of the many letters I found in the archive of librarian of the IHR asking Geyl to bring his books back that he took out. So clearly he agreed to it, but he didn't really follow this particular rule, which is in a way totally in character with things we know about Geyl. How were books ordered? A lot of times the IHR worked with Martinus Nijhoff, which is a very well-known antiquary book dealer. So there are many letters of the IHR staff to Nijhoff, which through Geyl commanded books, and here they are asking for a 10% discount, which the publisher does not want to give, but in this exceptional case, they will do it, and then they have to write back, because Geyl was clearly interested in getting the best deals also from Nijhoff, to say that Geyl, they write back to ask, Geyl made us ask for a bigger discount, probably we can get 25 or 30%, which they then say no, it's impossible because we are not a German or a French publisher. 10% is the best we can do. So just to show the level of interaction and commitment Geyl had to building this connection. So to move further, why the IHR? Giving to all the things that we already know, that are being discussed about, there are a number of reasons I think. Of course there is the prestige involved, which made him want to move the books already when the institute was founded. The conflict with Harting and Foster, for him wanting to take the books out of UCL and Bedford, could play a role, but I think the main role here is the commitment of Geyl, taking away his experience of almost getting fired, losing his post, that he needs to integrate more in English academia and make friends, basically. And he made two friends that he also described in not always too positive ways. John E. Neal, the successor of Pollard, and Bellow, also later professor at UCL. He made friends, he made connections, and he started teaching at the IHR, a seminar, diplomatic history seminar, and which is, this is here, the first mention of it, 1924, 1925, exactly at the same time. This was continued until Geyl left, and later his successor, Renier, continued this course, which was not, it was a European course, it was not Dutch studies only. There was also a short experiment with the reading of Dutch historical texts. It was a preliminary course, not a seminar, that Geyl also started, but it only lasted for 4 or 5 years. And the reason he needed these books is clear from letters as these, where he asks, the librarians asked Bedford to send more books because Geyl wants to use them in his seminar. So it's basically also clear that he needs the books, and he used the book for his seminar. He's doing other stuff as well. 1926, he's involved in organizing one of I think the second Anglo-American conference, very large conferences, hundreds of attendants, widely reported in the news. Geyl is there in the back. There was the image of the start of the lecture. And he's also writing recommendations letters for his star pupil, Bindhoff, a later professor in Queen Mary, I think, because he heard there is a vacant position of an assistant librarian in the IHR, and he is really recommending Bindov to be one of the candidates in 1930. Obviously, Bindov didn't make it, but it shows his commitment to his pupils, but also to the IHR. Then, to finish off, this Low Countries room. That was one of the demands of the Dutch Studies Committee, that there needed to be a special room for the books to be put in. Geyl mentions this room, that he liked this room a lot, that he spent many hours there working on his own research, and that even the English historians were a bit jealous of how many material was there. Could be made up, of course, by Geyl, but I think there is some truth in it. So, I don't know if you can really zoom in, maybe. These are the plans. This is the plan before the IHR was built, and the little red square there is where the Dutch room would be built. So, before the IHR was built, there was the plans to put the Dutch books in a separate room. This makes me believe that this idea of transferring the books was a very early idea. Because if you look at later actual maps of the IHR, you can see that the Dutch room has disappeared. This is 27. The Dutch room is not there. It's part of the European room. Only from 27 onwards, we see the Dutch room appear in the official map of the Institute here on the other side. And since then, there has almost always been a Dutch room. In the planning for Senate House, the new layout of the library, there's a lot of debate. They actually built the library for the collection. So these are all, you find in the archive a lot of different plans and different layouts for where the different rooms have to go. Here the Netherlands get a very large, very huge room, bigger than Germany, the same size of France. So quite large room. Later plans show a bit of a smaller room on the other side, just there. Then, during the temporary housing in the 30s and 40s, the room is there, basically the same size. This is in the third floor of the Senate House. And then, this is the period we don't know. During the war, the IHR moved to Tavistock Square. We have no information. The room was there. But then, afterwards, the Dutch room is still there, although a little bit on the outside, because it's on the third floor, no longer in the close to the European collections, but the third floor where all the other collections basically are housed. And it stayed this way until 2013, when a new layout of the IHR, a lot of rooms were lost in a way and used for other purposes. This is a lot of this room being changed into a training room, what it is now. There's computer education, and the Low Countries collections are now integrated in the second floor where all the other European collections are housed. And this is the plan. So if you want to look for the second floor, the back left corner of the floor. So what can we conclude? I think the IHR and Geyl both gave something to one another. The IHR gave Geyl one of the largest collections of Low Countries books, paid for with money primarily from the Dutch government, and this is why this collection is so large today. So I think we should be very grateful to have this amazing collection here. On the other way, the IHR gave Geyl a way to integrate into English academia. He made friends there. It was one of the first places where he had successful seminars, made more connections, and of course, he made the beginning of his success as a professor started right around that period of the transfer of the books, and he's starting to teach seminars here. And of course, success in London meant success in his later professional life. Thank you for listening.